All right, what's up, guys? Here we're at Heroes Cards, Comics, and Games, and we have.
Oh, so this is Mark Bost. I'm Mark Bost.
Where are you from?
Oh, yeah, I'm from Peachtree City, Georgia.
How long have you been playing Magic?
I've been playing Magic since Khans of Tarkir, I guess.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a while. Forged Khans of Tarkir, somewhere around there.
All right, and what deck you have show for us?
So I am currently playing CEDH, the Gitrog Monster. The Gitrog Monster is a 5-mana 6/6 Golgarian cost. He's a Death Toucher. At the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sacrifice a land or sacrifice Gitrog, which is the only downside on him, but it's mitigated by his other ability of you may play an additional land on each of your turn, and also whenever a land hits your grave, you will draw a card.
All right, we're here with a face-down view of the Gitrog monster deck. Show us some of the combinations of your deck that you're really happy with.
Alrighty, so the main interaction of the deck is this card right here. Dakmor Salvage, I realize it's not in English, but it says it's a black land that enters the battlefield tapped, but that's not the relevant part. The relevant part is it's a land that has Dredge 2, which means with a discard outlet plus Gitrog. So these two cards right here. Any discard outlet will do. You can use your end step as a discard outlet if you have 8 or more cards in hand. You can use Oblivion Crown, Future Dimp, Nimble Mongoose, or not Nimble Mongoose.
So anything that says discard a card. There you go.
So the interaction is you discard Dakmor Salvage. Dakmor Salvage will trigger Gitrog upon hitting the graveyard. You have a draw trigger on the stack, and you replace that draw trigger with the Dredge. So you'll be milling 2 cards and go back to the 0 case of discard outlet in play, Gitrog in play, Dakmor in hand. You'll then net 2 cards milled off of that. If you hit a land, you'll draw a different card off of Gitrog. Basically, you're just going to do that infinitely. You do that infinitely, and then eventually you get to the Shuffle Titans. You eventually mill over these cards.
So why are these important? Why are these Titans important for the deck?
So the Titans are really important for the deck because you will die if you do not have them. So
what's that last ability say?
So the last ability says whenever the Shuffle Titan, either Ulamog or Kozilek, whenever it hits the graveyard, you will reshuffle your entire graveyard back into your deck. So obviously excluding Dakmor, whenever you do shuffle, but you essentially the end of the combo is your hand, your graveyard, and your library all exist as basically the same zone. So because you'll be netting card draws off of the cards you mill from the Dakmor and so on and so forth. Basically, once you get to the 0 state of having your entire deck in your hand, you're going to cast Dark Ritual, or Lotus Petal, depending on if you are able to play at instant speed, if you're at sorcery speed. It all depends on certain factors. But essentially, you're going to cast Dark Ritual. It's going to go to your graveyard. Kozilek or Ulamog will go to your graveyard too. You'll put them back in your deck. You'll discard a different random card, doesn't matter. Let's say it's a Mesmeric Orb. They're all going to shuffle back into your deck, and then you are going to discard Dakmor again, mill 2. If it's the Mesmeric Orb and the Kozilek, if it's the random card in the Kozilek, then you will just draw your card, the Dark Ritual. So you now have Dark Ritual again. Discard whatever, basically, you need to discard whatever you need to not die. So that's why we play 2 Shuffle Titans. After that, basically just cast Dark Ritual over and over and over again. Get infinite black mana. And there are 2 combos to get infinite green mana. The first one is by having Twilight Mire untapped. You tap it for a black and float 2 green instead. With that, with one of those floating green, you're going to cast Crop Rotation, sacrificing Twilight Mire. In response to the Crop Rotation on the stack, or not even the Gitrog trigger, you discard a Shuffle Titan, shuffling the Twilight Mire back into your deck, bringing back out Twilight Mire.
Okay.
With the Crop Rotation. After infinite green mana, you essentially Crop Rotation into Emergence Zone. Emergence Zone lets you play things as though they had flash.
Okay.
You sacrifice it and lets you play things as flash. Now you Finale of Devastation. For X equals more than 10, finding Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman, basically the relevant ability is exiling a creature card from your grave or someone's grave. It's going to be yours in this case. You'll exile a random creature card, let's say Elvish Spirit Guide, and then you will eventually cast your own Rift Sweeper to put it back into your deck, and then continue the combo. You sacrifice the Deathrite Shaman to Culling the Weak. Culling the Weak will put this in the grave, give you 4 black mana. The only thing that matters is that it sacrifices your creature.
Yep.
And you'll recast Finale of Devastation for X equals 10 or more, giving Deathrite Shaman with haste. You play your Rift Sweeper, bring back the Elvish Spirit Guide, and you're good to go. You're off to the races. You're infinite.
All right.
So besides the combo, or besides the infinite green with crop rotation, you can get infinite green by playing Elvish Spirit Guide. Exile Elvish Spirit Guide, get your green mana, play Rift Sweeper somehow. Well, this was an old version of the deck that I used to play where you played Necromancy so that you can do this at instant speed to reanimate your own Rift Sweeper to get Elvish Spirit Guide. So that's no longer a very viable version of the deck. I just don't personally like Necromancy. Anyway, so moving on to specific card includes that I really, really like. This is an Adnaz deck. Like a lot of decks in CEDH, this is Adnaz. I've drawn upwards of 50 cards with Adnaz. This card is nuts. I think I drew like 30 lands or something like that, hit 30 lands in a row, so I didn't lose very much life, and I remained at like 8 life and drew 50 cards. The card's nuts. That, in addition with Squandered Resources, not Splendid Reclamation.
This is kind of older card, so some of our viewers might not have seen this
Yeah, this is a really old card. I don't even remember when it's from. But anyway, it
Sack
does
outlet for
everything
lands,
you want. It's
yeah.
sack outlet for lands. It does pretty much anything you want in this deck. Gives you more mana, gives you more cards. That's really all there is to it. Oftentimes it's cards like Squandered Resources, Adnaz, Necropotence, cards like that that will let you use your Instep as a discard outlet, which is nutty. Your Instep as a discard outlet functions like any other discard outlet, except you can't do it at instant speed. It has to be your Instep. So there's a rule in Magic that says whenever you go to cleanup, if some game state thing would change, the game will check again to see if everything in your cleanup step has resolved. So if you go up above 8 cards again after discarding a card, then you're going to go to cleanup again. You're going to keep doing it as long as you have 8 or more cards in hand. So you can use your Instep as a discard outlet that way. And then another random one-off combo that I'd like to highlight is Mesmeric Orb Basalt Monolith. Mesmeric Orb says whenever you would, or whenever anyone has a permanent untap, they mill a card. Basalt Monolith says add 3 mana, pay 3 to untap Basalt Monolith. Okay. So it's an alternate way to win and net infinite draws without having to have deck.
Got it.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
We're here at Heroes, Cards, Comics, and Games.